Ah, the 1910s. A simpler time when a car only cost $500, where children played in the street and were hit by said cars. Unfortunately, EA and DICE have decided to focus on the negative aspects, such as mass destruction and death. So, is Battlefield 1 worth it? Let's find out. You might assume a World War I video game wouldn't live up to modern expectations. After all, it's essentially ignoring a century of technological and military advancements. But Battlefield 1 eagerly steps up to the challenge, recreating a transformative period in combat. A time when horses and tanks shared the war zone, where trains became mechanized tools of destruction, and global conflicts took to the air. Battlefield 1 isn't meant to validate the cold, dry history of the Great War. Instead, DICE have crafted an inspired vision of one of the darkest periods in civilization, and one of the best games of the year so far. Battlefield 1's single player comes in the form of war stories, 6 unrelated short tales that span over the 4-year conflict. Each feature a unique mechanic, such as operating a powerful tank in France, engaging in dogfights over England, and stealthily taking out commanders in a small Mesopotamian open world. Altogether, these will only take 6 hours to complete, and mostly serve as a tutorial for the multiplayer mechanics. But it's the personal narratives that make this mode so exceptional. Players will take control of an armored Italian soldier in search of his twin brother, an American con artist turned expert pilot, and a legendary Australian marksman, carefully balancing the horror of mass destruction with the bravery of its combatants. By keeping its perspective narrow, DICE have created some of the most diverse and resonant story moments of the generation. But of course, Battlefield's main attraction is its robust multiplayer options. The franchise flagship Conquest mode returns once again, though in terms of evolution, there's not much here. 2 teams of 64 players fight over small hubs of land. Once the area is controlled, tickets are dispensed, with the battle continuing until one side reaches 1,000 tickets. The core rules remain untouched, but these grand fights showcase the new and entertaining vehicles. Traversing the bombed-out landscapes in motorcycles or by horseback trades projectile defense for snappy mobility, while the early 20th century tanks offer explosive power for limited visibility, and while planes travel quickly, they have tricky controls. Battlefield cleverly compromises and empowers all modes of transportation, allowing for dominance over contested flags under the risk of strategic opposition. And teamwork is the make-or-break factor in every match. Player teams are divided into squads of 5, with the bonus ability to respawn near a squad mate rather than an occupied flag. Working together to control sectors and spot nearby enemies is key to victory, and this is emphasized in the 4 soldier classes. Assault takes the role of an advancer, with rapid-fire guns and shotguns, as well as explosives against armored vehicles. The medic keeps his distance with a powerful rifle, and revives down teammates with a syringe. Supports share ammunition while mowing down enemies with his powerful machine gun. And scouts pick off invaders with their sniper rifles while spotting incoming forces. With an ever-dynamic set of circumstances, swapping out classes can make all the difference. Conquest remains a must-play multiplayer experience. Despite sticking with tradition, the overall changes to equipment and vehicles refresh this 14-year-old match type. Sadly, many of the other online modes don't fare quite as well. That's not to say they're not worthwhile, but there are so many similarities they become redundant. Take for instance War Pigeons, an exciting new take on Capture the Flag. Here players are tasked with locating and holding onto a messenger pigeon to unleash a bombardment of artillery fire. Cautiously navigating and protecting the bird is rewarded with an awesome display of the game's destruction physics. Then there's the less successful Rush mode, where teams are challenged to either plant a bomb or defend a location. Problem is, holding or overtaking the destination isn't all that different from the classic domination or conquest versions. Team Deathmatch is also available, and it's exactly how it sounds. Not that original, but a nice change of pace. Lastly, there's Operations, a multi-battle mode where one team defends while another attacks. What's interesting is the invading forces' respawns are limited, though they are supplied with tanks and vehicles, creating tense objectives for both sides. Despite an unfortunate amount of crossover, Battlefield 1's online play is still in a class of its own, thanks to its focus on teamwork, large locations, and expansive amount of unlockable weapons. This is all brought to life by the astonishing art design and impressive Frostbite engine graphics. Desolate countrysides, blown-out villages, vibrant lush jungles, and sweltering deserts are expertly rendered into explosive playgrounds, while still retaining the widespread environmental destruction of the series past. Observing an incoming Zeppelin or the burning wreckage of a combat area is hypnotic in its bolded color palette, though this does come at the cost of an inconsistent frame rate. While never a gameplay hindrance, noticeable shifts in fidelity frequently occur. So, is it worth it? Yes. Battlefield 1's uncompromised scope and authentic detail offer a fascinating look into the often forgotten events of World War I. Though this is viewed through the lens of a blockbuster video game, the devotion to humanize these conflicts creates a number of emotional connections, and with an addictive and deep multiplayer that values collective perseverance, Battlefield 1 respectfully details this tragic history without sacrificing its classic online experience. Battlefield 1 is currently available on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC for $60. If you've had a chance to play it, let me know what you thought, and if you haven't, let me know if you plan on picking it up. My name is Colin Tanner, and I'll see you in the next video.